What is popping in your lives today? M Racing 89 here, bringing you a historical video where today I'll be talking about drivers who race not only here at Williams Grove, but also at...
And also here at the world-famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're going to go through decades of history between Williams Grove and the Indy 500. Stay tuned.
The history starts in the 1940s, after World War II, as racing sprung back to life in the United States. The 1946 AAA Championship car season had a 77-race schedule mixed with dirt and paved ovals. Williams Grove had 10 races on the nearly 80-race schedule. The International 500-mile Sweepstakes, Indy 500, was the headline event of the series, and it was won by George Robson. Robson was a 37-year-old Englishman who had never won a championship car race until this point. That year, he won 5 more races, one of which was at Williams Grove on August 18th. An Indy 500 winner and racing superstar claimed victory at Williams Grove in the same year that he won the 500. In 1947, Williams Grove hosted 10 races again for the AAA Eastern Regional Series. Ted Horn won 4 of the races that year and was the national champion from 46 to 48. Horn had a lot of success at Williams Grove, winning 14 races there. He also accomplished a lot at Indianapolis that does not go unnoticed. He started the race 10 times between 1935 to 1948, finishing in the top 4 9 times. He is often noted as one of the most unlucky Indy heroes. The AAA Eastern Series visited the Grove again in mid-April of 1948, which also saw Ted Horn win again. Another racing superstar from the 40s claimed victory at the Grove and the Brickyard, as Bill Holland won at Williams Grove at the end of 1946 and in 1947. Holland won 15 races in the AAA Big Car Series in 1946, but he is famously known for his 1949 Indianapolis 500 victory. Williams Grove came back onto the championship calendar in 1949 with a non-points event called the Indianapolis Sweepstakes, held at the end of July. The pole sitter was Dwayne Carter, who is the father of 1985 Indy 500 pole sitter Pancho Carter, and the race was run by Johnny Mantz, who finished 7th at the Indy 500 2 months prior. This event brought a notably large crowd and continued until 1959. AAA stopped sanctioning the series in 1955, which is then when the United States Auto Club, also known as USAC, took over in '56. 3 Indy 500 winners won this race at the Grove in its short 10-year history. Troy Ruttman won the race in 50 and 51 back-to-back and was the 1952 Indy 500 winner. Jimmy Bryan won the race in 55 and 56 back-to-back as well, and 2 years later, he won the 1958 Indy 500. And Roger Ward won the Indy 500 in the same year he won this race at the Grove in 1959. He is one of 4 drivers to win at the Grove and win at Indy in the same year. Other notable drivers that raced here during this time was famous AJ Foyt, a 4-time Indy 500 winner and the All-American racer. Foyt won at the Grove 4 times in his career. 1955 500 winner Bob Swiker raced at the Grove during this era as well. The near 500 winner in 1961 Eddie Sachs had numerous podiums at the Grove during this era. And Pat Flaherty won a race in 1956 at the Grove, which was his Indy 500 winning year as well. Victory Lane was a frequent destination for AJ Foyt in the 1960s, as he won 3 of his 4 Indy 500s in this decade. He also picked up 4 Williams Grove victories in the early 60s with the USAC Sprint Car Series. In 1960, he won his first race at the Grove, propelling him to win his only USAC National Sprint Car Championship a few weeks later. He won 2 races in 1964 at the Grove, once in April and the other one in July. In between these 2 victories, he won the USAC-sanctioned Indy 500 in May. Foyt also won his 4th USAC National Championship, modern-day IndyCar, that year as well. Another champion had success at the Grove during the 60s, and that is Arkansas native Parnelli Jones. Jones took his only victory at the Mechanicsburg track in October of 1961 in the USAC National Sprint Car Series. A few weeks later, he claimed his first championship in the series and went back-to-back in 1962. 1963 is the year that made him immortal, as he won the Indy 500 in record speed at the time, completing the race in just under 3.5 hours. 1963 was also the inception of Williams Grove's biggest race, the National Open, It was held in the fall, as it still is today, but was a 100-lap race. 36 cars started in the race, and it was won by Michigan's Gordon Johncock. Johncock started in 14th in this race, and he was in second by lap 23, and took the lead 10 laps later. Johncock, 10 years later, would take his first of 2 Indy 500 victories. His second was a historic win, as it was the closest finish at the time, as he had a thrilling duel with Rick Mears in the closing lap, winning by just under 0.2 of a second. Another Indy 500 winner that competed at the Grove during the 60s frequently was young Mario Andretti. However, the Nazareth resident never managed to get a win at the famous track. Mario led 556 laps at the Brickyard and is known for his bad luck at the Speedway. But his 1969 win will always be a cherished moment in racing history, as it is the only 500 win the Andretti family has. Johnny Rutherford was also a visitor at the Mechanicsburg track, as he raced at Williams Grove 4 times with the USAC Sprint Car division. Rutherford is a famous 3-time Indy 500 winner, and gave McLaren its first Indy 500 win in 1974. Rutherford is an icon in the sport, as he is a 2-time champion as well, and was the pace car driver for IndyCar up until 2016. The 1970s saw a change in the dirt racing world, as the USAC Sprint Car Series did run both asphalt and dirt tracks, but the asphalt winners are what Indy 500 teams were focused on. Indy 500 competitors still did see the Grove during the 70s, as Gary Bentenhauser was a USAC Sprint Car regular and raced at the Grove numerous times. He did not get a win at the dirt track, but was successful at Indy with 3 top 5s in his 21 starts. As mentioned earlier, Pancho Carter was an Indy 500 pole sitter in 1985, and had 6 top 10s in the race. Pancho won 2 USAC Sprint Car championships in the 1970s, and raced at the Grove every year, but did not manage to get a win. The end of the 70s saw a shift for not only Williams Grove, but also IndyCar, as people coming from dirt backgrounds were not racing in the Indy 500 as prevalent, and wing sprint car racing began to take over at Williams Grove versus the wingless USAC races that were there in the past. Over the past 40 years or so, sprint car drivers have still found their way to the Indy 500 every now and then. A prime example would be Tony Stewart. Stewart was a dirt racing phenom who made his way to the Brickyard in 1996. He competed in the race 5 times, earning a pole in his rookie year. Stewart also claimed 2 wins at the Grove in wing sprint cars, one in a 410 and one in the URC 360s. Sarah Fisher is another sprint car driver who made her way to Indy. Fisher competed at the Grove in her early career and eventually raced in the Indy 500 9 times and became a team owner after her driving career. Ed Carpenter and Joseph Newgarden famously piloted her number 67 entry. J.J. Yaley was a USAC star in the late 90s and early 2000s, winning multiple championships across numerous divisions. He did not earn a win at the Grove, but obviously is a well-known name in the racing world. In 1998, Yaley finished 9th in his only 500 start. Yaley still competes in the NASCAR Cup Series to this day. Another NASCAR driver that came from dirt, Jason Leffler, competed at the Grove in a 410 sprint car. He also competed at the Indy 500 in 2000, earning a 17th place finish. An Indiana dirt racing legend, Brian Clausen, was a well-known name across the country, winning multiple USAC championships in the 2010s. He competed at the Grove in 2016 in the Silver Crown Series, finishing second to Chris Windom in a thriller. Clausen raced in 3 Indy 500s before his tragic death in 2016, and won the vote of IndyCar's most popular driver as the fans' tribute. And now, 2024 sees a new sprint car driver test the famous Indy 500. Kyle Larson has been one of sprint car's best drivers in the country over the past decade. He has 4 wins at the Grove and numerous all over Pennsylvania. Larson is driving for Era McLaren for the 2024 Indy 500, and as of this video, he has qualified in an impressive 5th place.
Thank you guys for tuning into this historical video. Very much look forward to bringing out this video, something I had an idea of for a while. Make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and I look forward to being back here at Williams Grove and other dirt tracks across PA for the rest of the summer. Thank you guys for tuning in.